Bev's Video Kingdom is intended for a mature audience. Listener discretion is advised.
I can brag your favorite podcast. Let's start this thing. Woo!
What's up, Bev's Video Kingdom? We are back, and I am Nate, and we are drafting in the wake of our spotlight pod last week.
Can we be funny now? Can we like laugh?
I think we were appropriately humorous last week.
All right. I know we were
Spotlight's a little heavy. It's a heavy movie, and we are not. While we are up for joking about almost everything, we tried to stay away from jokes that would be terribly tasteless and terrible about priests molesting children.
And if we offended anybody, or if Nate particularly offended anybody, we do apologize. And so,
send us an email. We'll send you.
Are we talking about my comments about possibly setting fire to empty church buildings?
Oh, now we're specifying that they're empty. Okay.
You know what? I thought a little bit about it since last week, and I'm happy to argue with anybody who thinks that we shouldn't set all the empty Catholic churches on fire. I'll have that public debate. I think I'm comfortable with that.
You're talking about the Sistine Chapel, brother.
You know what? It's not, we got to pay a price. We got to pay a price. We got to pay a price for protecting children, and that's one that I'm willing to pay. Hey, and you heard it here first. Okay?
I'm jumping on board. I'm right behind you.
You get the gasoline, I'll get the match. Okay, so we're drafting this week. We're drafting on the heels of Spotlight, which is about the heroes of the movie are the reporters that are being portrayed from the Boston Globe Spotlight team. And so we were thinking, there's actually a lot of really great characters that are playing the roles of reporters in movies. Why don't we draft them? And that's what we're drafting. But they don't just have to be newspaper reporters.
Journalists,
media personalities, reporters, who are reporting the news.
Well, yeah. I think that's kind of where we're at. We're in that realm. I think there's definitely a line.
If you're
that
reporting
can be
the news publicly, is that what we're saying?
Right. I'm saying I wouldn't consider a producer like
no. You have to be the one delivering the news. The news
in some form.
You have to be the
delivering,
author,
writing, speaking.
The author, speaking in some way, portraying it.
Yeah.
Doing some sort of interpretive dance where you.
There you go.
Do the news. Yeah.
There's a clear 1-of-1 for me, and I just hope I get the first pick.
Yeah, there is a clear 1-of-1 here. So, okay.
I'm positive that you guys don't have the same one as me.
Oh, wow.
I also think this is an interesting one in the sense that there are some reporter movies. There's some movies about journalists, and there's some movies that just happen to have journalists, and they're really further spread. I mean, maybe everyone would say we always miss the old ones, but this is one where it's pretty hard to ignore some stuff, but that's before our time.
Oh, not for me.
Not for me. I mean, I don't want to give too much of my draft strategy away, but Nate, I think you're going to have just open season on any of those old movies.
Great, thanks for that. That helps me with my
buddy.
Yeah, you can save them all to like your fourth and fifth picks.
Perfect. Okay.
You're good to go.
So it's the three of us, Brad, Zach, and Nate, and we have a 5-round draft coming at you. But the question is, who gets that first 1-of-1 pick?
Well, I just happened to I was driving around, and it actually took me 3.5 hours until I actually ran into a location that had a newsstand in front of it still, where you could get an actual hard copy of a newspaper. And I was like, oh, hell yeah, I want to get a newspaper. We're talking about journalists. I want to have a newspaper with me, see what they're putting in the headlines and stuff. And so I grabbed a Modesto B. It's very thin nowadays.
I was going to say my dad still gets it, and there's like 4 pages. I'm like, what is going on with this newspaper?
It is such trash. But anyway, the newspaper, I'm looking at the headline there, and it was talking about some guy named Brad. He robbed a house or something like that. And I was like, wow, Brad.
On page 1?
On page 1.
Brad at number 1.
Yeah, some guy named Brad. He robbed
recognizable
a house.
mustache.
I don't know if he had a mustache. I mean, it seems like that would be noticeable, but
yeah, the guy had a poor fitting beanie on over his face with just giant braids coming out.
Braids hanging out.
Yeah, I probably should have
Curly mustache coming up through the eye holes.
Look like the Predator robbing a fucking 7-Eleven.
And number 2, and we're recording this not too long after the 4th of July. And in page 2 there, I opened up page 2, and it was talking about some guy had severely injured himself in some fireworks accidents, and his name was Nate, and he was still in the hospital. They were talking about his recovery.
That's hitting a little close to home, guys.
Very, very quickly, we did sparklers after the fireworks display at Nate's house, and Nate's got a beautiful lawn in his backyard, and like there's literally like one dry spot in the entire lawn. Our kids grab the sparklers, start going crazy. Everybody else is kind of cleaning up and doing other stuff. Me and Brad are out there lighting the sparklers, and we turn around, and our kids have managed to light the one spot in Nate's lawn on fire, and it will not go out. And
a little bit large.
We had to pour a freaking huge bucket of water on it. Anyways, continue.
It was good stuff. So yeah, I'm hoping.
So glad now I know.
I'm hoping that guy Nate recovers from his fireworks injuries, but he that was on page 2
in the 2 slot.
Yeah, and so then I look over on page 3 here, and there's a story about a guy who he was arrested for selling scorpions and rattlesnakes.
Oh, this checks out.
And his name was Zach.
Special scorpions. You let them sting your dick, and you stay hard for like 6 hours.
It was talking about you could get high off of the venom, is what he was talking about in the article. So he doesn't. Yeah, he's not selling for like pets or anything. He's just,
reptile peddler.
Yeah.
When I left today to go to the pod, I said, "Bye, buddy," to my son Hunter, and he goes, "Make lots of dick jokes." I said,
on brand.
No problem, buddy.
So yeah, that was page 3. So we've got in the number 1 hole we've got Brad, and number 2 we've got Nate, number 3 we've got Zach.
Boom.
Call me Scorpion.
I usually don't like the middle, the little the sandwich spot, but I kind of like it tonight.
I call bullshit. You love being in the middle of the sandwich.
All right. That's
with
your
extra mayo.
I got Zach.
All right, so 1, 2, 3 here. It's gonna be a 5-round draft. It's a snake draft. If you're not familiar with fantasy football, I'll be picking first, Nate second, Zach third, and then Zach will go with the 4th pick, and then we'll go back the other way, and we'll keep wrapping around for 5 rounds. So that's our snake draft format. Here we go. It is time to start this draft, and I'm now confused because Zach says we all kind of said there's a number 1, and Zach says I don't think that you have my number 1.
If you pick my number 1, I'll lose my mind.
Well, man, there's one.
God, please pick his number 1.
There's one I'm going to go with that I think is just the right one, and it fits for this pod, and it's just universally well liked. That's going to be Ron Burgundy from Anchorman, and it's just tough. It's a movie about journalists, and Ron Burgundy's the best.
Ron Burgundy doesn't do a lot of journalism or seeking out the news.
He reports the news.
He reports the news. He reads a teleprompter, if we're being fair. And it doesn't matter what's on that teleprompter. Ron's going
to I think that is the 101, and it's a weird one because, like, Spotlight's the polar opposite, right? It's that super heavy, and the journalists are, like, really skilled at their job.
Yeah.
But you know what? If we're talking memorable journalists in movies, it's got to be Ron.
I think we're using the term journalist super fucking flimsily.
Hey,
I like the pick, though. I would have picked him eventually, probably around the 4th or 5th round.
Oh, boy.
So this, I think this pick is a much tougher one than, some 101s really fall, and so apparently you think there's a clear 101 that wasn't picked.
Yeah.
So I'm going to kind of go with my heart here. William from Almost Famous.
That's a great pick.
Was that your idea?
That was my number 2 pick. I would have picked that with my 4th pick.
Yeah. So he's obviously the main character, and he's a true journalist, and also, kind of unique, right? Like, he's this kid that it's a true-ish story about Cameron Crowe, right? Kind of getting to do this story for Rolling Stone when
you don't have to convince us, dude. It's just an amazing movie.
I was going to say the first 2 picks have both been very heavily listened to and enjoyed podcasts that we've done. So there you go.
And the true 101 in the journalist draft. I am going to go
the dude that's in Blue Chips.
No, I think this is clear. This is very clear. We're going with Raoul Duke playing Hunter S. Thompson.
Oh,
Johnny
see, you
Depp
best. There was
in
part of
Fear
me
and
that
Loathing in Las Vegas.
so upset that I was thinking that. Please tell me it's not Raoul Duke because I want him so bad in the next rap.
Heads off to Las Vegas with his lawyer to cover a motorcycle race, and ends up covering all sorts of things except for the race.
Yeah,
And,
so I had that one. It would have been much deeper for me, and I think my argument for it being deeper would have been that the movie doesn't revolve around his journalism, even though he ends up writing a lot of books that are phenomenal about his drug use.
yes.
So that knocked it down for me. But I mean,
that's his books though. He's got a ton. I mean, article after article.
He's a great and not only like, I mean, some really impactful ones about politics. And
oh yes,
he's a great writer.
I read pretty much everything that he's written, and at an age where I didn't really understand like 90% of what I was really reading.
The main writers of like the Hell's Angels at the Rolling Stones concert? Like, wasn't he? Did he write about that?
No, but he wrote a book called Hell's Angels where he actually infiltrated the Hell's Angels.
Okay,
and then got found out and stomped out and almost killed by the Hell's Angels. Fucking spectacular book. You should definitely read it. It takes place all in California. It's fucking amazing.
I thought you said you don't read nonfiction.
I went on a Hunter S. Thompson. I have a fucking huge. I named my kid Hunter after Hunter S. Thompson. Like, he was my dude.
All right.
Okay, so I know that. I literally have a massive,
makes tons of sense.
A massive Hunter S. Thompson tattoo on my side here. All right. So, anyways, we are moving on to. Okay, so this wants to be my next pick, but now I'm questioning if he's a journalist. So if you write a book, a nonfiction book about a true event, does that make you a journalist technically? I think that's stretching it, guys.
Well, you might as well pick it, and then we'll tell you no or yes.
So can we go with Philip Seymour Hoffman as Capote in Capote? 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 I think that's stretching it too
really
far.
A journalist,
I agree.
yeah.
It's not really a journalist. I mean, he wrote In Cold Blood.
They got to be involved in the news somehow, I think. News reporting.
Yeah, true crime reporting in book form, I guess. I wouldn't pick it, but you know what? You want to die on that particular.
No, I've got another
pick.
one. I've got another one.
I'm just afraid Nate's going to take my second pick, which is going to make me mad.
I feel like I don't know where to go. I feel like you're throwing me. I think I have to do it. I think I have to do it because.
Well, you're not up yet. He didn't take Capote officially.
He's not going to take this one. I think I have to do it to protect here, even though I might be able to wait. But
I'm going to go. All right, this is just we're just going back to my childhood here. So we start off with Hunter S. Thompson, and we go right into Judith Hoag as April O'Neil in the very first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie.
Sure,
as the fresh-faced redheaded reporter.
Sure.
And man, she's great in that. And I don't love the Megan Fox turn or any of the other ladies, but the very first one, she's fucking awesome. So that's what I'm going to go with.
I added in there for you. I put OG Turtles.
Yeah, it's got to be the 1990 movie. That's just like. Just all the Foot Clan guys just doing hood rat shit.
She straight up infiltrates it. She gets saved by Raphael.
It's so awesome.
She's great. And then she gives him like the little wink, the little shout out on the air.
I thought she was really hot, like back in the day. Contributed to my love of curly hair. She had like the dimple chin.
Oh yeah,
very sexy.
No, yeah, she was going to be picked if it got into the fourth or fifth for me for sure. Damn it! That's a nice number two.
I keep going back and forth here because I can't decide if Brad's if he's really going to go this direction, and I should just wait. If he wants it, he can have it. Okay, I got to do this, and it's not. I don't think this is where you're going to go. But to be totally honest, this is the one of one. Like, if I wasn't correcting for you guys' idiocy, I would have taken this one of one.
Okay,
and that's Bob Woodward, played by Robert Redford.
Okay.
In All the President's Men. I mean, All the President's Men is the OG. So Spotlight from last week.
So I was wondering if you would do Woodward and Bernstein as a team, like if it should be together or if it should be
if I could get them both, sure, but I wouldn't allow that argument. I mean, I think, if you watch that movie, they're both great in it, but Woodward is the one. I mean, Woodward is the one that talks to Deep Throat. Right. They have those really impactful scenes. I think Robert Redford. I think is the true star of the movie, even though Dustin Hoffman's great in it. I mean, I have a particular affinity for this movie, or affection for this movie, because I've seen it a lot, shown it a lot to people, and I think it's honestly, Spotlight from last week owes a lot to that movie and the sort of tone of it. So I don't know. Maybe you wouldn't. Maybe I could have gotten that in the fifth, but I couldn't let it go any longer.
I thought you were going to go Ben Fong Torres, but okay.
Thought about it.
Hey, it's Ben Fong Torres. I love that dude's voice.
I don't think that's where you were going, though, was it, Brad?
I kind of was hoping to talk you into taking it because I didn't necessarily want to, but I probably was going to take that in the wrap if it came to me.
Okay.
So I don't think you would have got it later, but now I've got to make some decisions here, and oh boy. Okay, so my first pick here is going to be Raul Duke. Man, I was hoping to have that. Let's go ahead and I'm going to go with two of my favorites from this list. First off, I'm going to go with just a mean, at least in the first movie, just kind of mean-spirited and angry, but that's what makes her a good journalist. She's not afraid to ask the tough questions and to get in somebody's face when people are getting murdered all over the town, and she's going to go ask the tough questions, even if she gets punched. She'll take a punch for the story, and that's Gale Weathers in the Scream franchise.
Ooh, nice pick.
Wow. So I'm taking Gale Weathers.
God, I like that one a lot. That one was not on my list, and that's a great pick.
So yeah, I mean, takes a punch, asking the tough questions.
Damn.
She's definitely like one of those kind of hard copy type where it's like they're trying to get the sensational stories and stuff, but eventually, she gets into some shit and she ends up falling in love with ends up being her real husband for a while, right?
Played by Monica Geller, right?
Yeah. Is that is that her name in Friends?
Friends, yeah, it's all Friends universe.
Gotcha. Okay, now my next pick here. Oh man, there's one I'm going to save because I think I can get it later. I'm going to go ahead and go with, and Zach's probably going to hate this. You know what? When we're talking memorable journalists, there's something to be said, and I talked about this last week on the pod a little bit. Is the idea of like new media versus old media. The old way of reporting and stuff is just like you're going to chase that story, you're going to put in all the hard work, and eventually it's going to go to print. Versus sensational journalism of online today is let's get there as fast as we can to the scene and get the bloody mess, and so we can put a video of it and it's going to go viral and things like that. And I'm going to go ahead and take Louis Bloom from Nightcrawler.
Wait a minute.
He's not a journalist?
I know.
I think that's completely legit. Can I show you what's pulled up on my screen right now?
Wow. I said you're going to hate it. I thought you were going to hate it.
And I was going to give Nate a shout out for showing me that movie. I'd never seen it. Nate showed it to me at the lake house, and I dug it a lot. No. Good pick, Brad. I'm just saying,
almost anybody can be a journalist nowadays, and in a weird way. Like, I mean, as far as I know, some of the local where people are getting their news nowadays, as I talked about, is from online sources that are not reputable. They're not people who went to J school or anything, and they're just going ahead and reporting news like they know what's up. So
I feel like I'm just like running the ball straight up the middle, just sort of like just sort of smash mouth here. I'm not doing anything weird like you guys.
Running the ball straight through 1965.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I got to do this. I'm gonna buy the T-shirt.
Oh, question
is, who do you do?
That's the interesting question.
If you don't pick Hulk, I don't think it's a pick.
I think it's got to be Mike, right? So Michael Resendez from Spotlight. I mean, you could make the argument that any of the three leads, Robbie or Sasha, any of them would be great picks, I think, here. But Mike with his, they knew, and they didn't do anything about it.
I don't like him, as I've said numerous times.
He's great.
He was really good, dude.
Yeah, he kills in this. So that's where I'm going. I mean, this is gonna,
The only problem with his performance was I was legitimately like, couldn't wait for the movie to be over because I said I need to go look up Mike Resendez because either he made just a wild choice on his own to like,
or he mimicked
have like a weird like facial,
he holds his mouth, funny,
the way he's kind of
head funny,
exactly.
Perfect.
And I was like, I have to see if this guy really, and of course he does.
That's great. So, he's great.
Yeah, pretty legit. 2 picks here, Zach.
Okay. Yeah,
you got anything on your list?
That's the problem. I do. I've got several things. God, it's this was a bit of a tough category for me.
Oh man, I got a lot.
I just can't wait to figure out if Scotch thinks that I'm team 1 or if he thinks that I'm team 3 right now. Like,
so what's tough for me is I want to go Zodiac next, but I don't know if I go Robert Downey Jr. I think I got to go Robert Downey Jr. because I guess Graysmith isn't really a journalist. He's just a cartoonist that happens to be like kind of caught up in it.
Landed on my list. Like I wanted to choose Graysmith.
I was going to go Graysmith if I was.
Wow.
But I don't think he's technically. I think just like
he's a cartoonist, but he starts doing all like the investigation.
Right, but I don't think he writes about it. I think he's giving his stuff to Downey, and Downey's the one that actually writes anything. So I'm going to go Paul Avery, Robert Downey Jr. in Zodiac with that pick, and then. With my 4th pick, I'm going to take the correct pick from Almost Famous, and I'm going to go Lester Bangs, Philip Seymour Hoffman.
I thought hard about Lester Bangs as over William, and I just couldn't do it. But that's a great pick. I mean, I
love William, but I was going to try and go for a whole Philip Seymour Hoffman team, but it fell apart. Fell apart after Capote.
Man,
I love how you always try themes. That's my favorite thing about your drafting style is that you try to bring in a theme, and it's so beautiful,
and it rarely works out.
All right, Nick, Nate, your second to last pick here.
Scott's friend that says. I'm listening to the draft right now. Zach just picks his 4th directional school.
Okay. Damn, this is really tough. I think continuing just right up the middle.
I mean, it's wide open for you, brother.
It really is. I mean, there's a lot here to pick. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do it. This is not one of my personal favorites. I didn't see this until fairly recently. But, I mean, it's, arguably the most iconic television news movie.
What?
And it's, Anchorman, of course, is one of them.
Okay.
But I think that, like, in terms of being sort of in the long-term lexicon, broadcast news.
Okay.
And Albert Brooks' character in that. Fuck you.
So that's like, that one is just missed me by just a bit. Like I'd never seen it. People talk about it. And
I was the same, and I had it on my list, and I finally put it down.
Okay.
I finally watched it, and I thought it was good. Like I didn't love it. There were things I really liked about it. So like, it's an interesting movie that does not give you the wrap up you want at all.
No, not at all.
It kind of punches you right in the dick. Like it's not and kind of in a weird, uncomfortable, like, but not that uncomfortable. It's like you really feel unsettled in some.
Yeah, you want it to kind of like at least choose a side and kind of stick with it,
and it
kind of just blows it all up, and you're like, well, fuck.
But not in but in kind of like it blows it up, but not in a very theatrical way. It's kind of like in a very mundane. Doesn't give you what you want, but it's good, but it's bad. I don't know. It's a great kind of uncomfortable. It's a good movie.
That's why I dug it for sure.
But it's not typical, I think, of the era, and it's different. And so I didn't love it, but I liked it. Okay.
God damn it! You stole one of my last picks, so that pisses me off. But
you're welcome.
That's okay. We've got other places to go, and the first one we're going to go, and you know what? Maybe you're not giving everybody the blood and guts and the gore, but probably the most important person on any morning newscast is going to be the weatherman, and that weatherman, Phil Connors.
No, that was I thought I was gonna sneak into Phil Connors.
You steal one from me. I steal one from you.
Phil Connors from what? So this is again
Groundhog Day.
Oh, I love that pick.
Okay, so you know why I didn't?
Bill Murray.
I'm really upset right now. So earlier I was brainstorming, and I came to that one and I was so psyched, and I didn't write it down, and so
to be fair,
I might have taken that third. Or
to be fair, he's not a journalist. It's not like he's researching. You know what I mean? He's just talking about the weather.
He's every bit as journalist as Ron Burgundy.
Yeah, I didn't like that pick either.
I actually think that's a really great pick that I would have picked earlier if I had it on my list. I'm an idiot. So
all right, well. Now it's time to go for the sentimental favorite down here at the bottom. When you're young and not very liked, sometimes you might take the story that nobody else is willing to take, and you're going to do some shit and go through some shit that you probably shouldn't put yourself through. But, our girl Drew Barrymore, she does the dirty work, and she goes to high school.
Fuck up.
Josie
you are doing
Geller.
it.
Brad.
Is that 2 in a row?
I saved it for my last pick, Josie Grossi, bro. Are you fucking kidding me?
Mad,
I was like, there's no way they're going to pick Josie Grossi, dude. She's the
Dude, I
greatest
can see off
reporter
your
of all time.
sunglasses.
I'm mad right now.
Zach is legitimately hot right now. He's like actually pretty mad.
I've literally done.
He's just mad because now he has to go research something else.
I've literally talked about Never Been Kissed 1,000 times. As like
100%.
my favorite, most uncomfortable movie that has ever been made.
100%. And there's so many ethical problems with the journalism as far as the way she behaves and what she has to go through.
I can't believe you picked that. That's fucking wild.
Yeah, it's a wild news story to try to pick up on what the high school kids are into, and she goes underground way too deep. And yeah, there's a lot of problems with that movie, but yeah, Josie Grossi, that's my pick.
Fuck.
All right.
Great pick, dude.
Here's one.
I hate you so much.
There's two that I'm debating. One I think is more widely recognized, but not for his journalism. The other is also not remembered so much as a journalist, but in fact, like he's the main character of the whole movie, and the journalism is important. I'm going with Erwin Fletcher from Fletch.
Again, just missed me, dude. Never seen it.
So Fletch and Fletch Lives, like some of the Fletch series with.
Is he a PI? I thought he was like a private investigator.
No, he's an LA Times reporter.
Oh, okay, my bad.
It's just. Those movies were so funny at the time. I don't think they hold up that well.
I watched it not too long ago, and I was just like, "This is not funny." I really struggled.
I don't think they hold up well at all. But the Fletch character is like,
yeah, Chevy Chase on coke, just doing things wild and making some. He always has great one-liners. I mean, there's tons of good one-liners, but just the movie themselves.
No, I don't think the whole movies hold up that well. But Fletch, the character, is so memorable. I mean, he's a reporter that headlines several movies as that character. So.
And it's age appropriate for our judge Scotch Beck. Scotch.
Oh, is it?
Scotch Beck.
Scotch Beck.
What do you like, Fletch? Scotch Beck?
Is it? I didn't even think about that.
I'm sure. I'm sure you didn't. Number two.
So there you go.
All right, Zach. Have you had time to find your
I don't have time.
new?
And I'm upset.
Just been getting yoink.
You're just getting jacked.
I have a pick, but it's just not. It's gonna lose me the draft. I've probably already lost the draft, so it's fine. It's fine, guys.
Take April O'Neil from one of the other Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movies.
There's so many right now. I'll give you one if you want it. Do you need one? Do you need me to pick for you?
Oh, I have one. I have a good one, dude.
This isn't the YouTube assist. This is just the co-drafter assist.
God damn it! All right, I'm gonna go with one of my favorite actresses, and I love this movie. And I brought it up at 4th of July and got shit on by everybody in the room. We're gonna go with Kate Winslet from The Life of David Gale, Bitsy Bloom.
Oh,
as the reporter that is reporting on our topically topical Kevin Spacey for the Spotlight Pod, and
one of our actor pedophiles.
Yep, exactly. So that's gonna be my pick. I love that movie.
So wait,
it was
who
low
shit
on my
on you
list.
about that movie? I love that movie.
Oh,
I've never seen it, but
the entire
I saw
table
it.
was like, "Fuck that movie! I hate that movie." Our old friend Nick. Who else was even there? I'm pretty sure Amy didn't like it. Seth didn't like it. Yeah, dude. Amanda didn't like it. No one liked it.
I love that movie.
I thought it was great.
Oh, dude, I'm not with them. I'm not.
I think the hatred for. I thought you were there for that.
I was not there for that.
I think that the hatred for it was stemming mostly from the Spacey adjacentness of it. But
yeah. Oh, I do kind of remember the conversation about Spacey, but I don't. I mean, I don't know. I guess it's. I mean, I'm not trying to like throw Spacey any business or anything, but. Just simply the fact that I saw a movie once that he was in that I liked. I guess am I supposed to apologize for that? I'm not sure.
I
mean, he's a good actor, right? Like he's a terrible human being.
Terrible human being, great actor.
And I'm not like I'm happy to like pirate his stuff now, so I guess he doesn't get any money for it.
So I guess my thing with him is that I'm not going to see any new movies that he's in. But I'm not going to all of a sudden hate movies that I enjoyed that he was in previously.
I guess I'm not even so sure that like, I mean, it's an interesting question, right? Like, I don't know. Maybe someone can tell us. I'm not even like trying to be anti-cancel about this per se. I don't know what, I don't even know how to think about the logic exactly. Like, I get it that there are people that like I won't engage, I guess, because their stuff because I don't like them. But is the idea that like you're a bad person if you would watch a movie from someone who was like bad?
I think they're acting, right? I mean, I don't know. It's like,
well, here's an example. I saw when we had Robbie on from American Zoetrope, and we were talking a little bit about possibly the new movie coming out,
Megalopolis, which Robbie is going to be one of the editors on.
That's what we. That's
Attaboy, Robbie.
That's the word. Way to do that good shit, Robbie.
You heard it here.
But I know that John Voight is on the cast list, and I know I saw some article about it in one of the entertainment news sites or whatever, and they were like, John Voight, John Voight. And it's just basically because of his connection to Trumpism, and he's Trump adjacent. So it's
if we're going to start canceling people for being conservatives, we're going to have a fucking rough time doing anything.
Right. And so it was just interesting to me that like, even at that point, like they're trying to like, oh man, I don't know if I'll see John Voight in it. It's like,
I'm all for canceling people, by the way. I think we should cancel more people. Especially if you are like doing weird shit to kids or freaking, uncomfortable stuff to underage boys or whatever Spacey's doing. I don't even know what he's doing, but I'm all for canceling him.
And I should be super clear. Like whatever cancel. I mean, like I'm all for whatever consequences Spacey has come.
Exactly.
I guess and so my question is simply like, I guess I'm asking two questions. One, if purely from an ethical standpoint, like, or if I wanted to sort of have some, I mean, I don't know whose principles we follow. If I wanted to take a principle stance, what's the logic of me? Am I supposed to not ever watch one of his movies again, even if it shows up for free in front of me?
I think there's people that think that is the way to go, and I don't even want to argue with those people. I'm just saying that I'll still watch American Beauty and enjoy the movie and not think about the whole time like, oh my god, I hate this guy.
But like
so
you're saying, but you're like, you would not see a new movie.
No, probably not. I mean, I wouldn't go out of my way to see it. I mean, and I don't think he's going to be in a position.
Even if you were like, this is great, everyone says this is great, I'm not going to go see it.
Well, in that case, my curiosity might trump my fucking morality, but I don't know.
I mean, I don't. Again, like I'm genuine. I'm not even like really grousing at it so much as it's a kind of. It seems complicated, right?
Right. It's like a complicated issue for sure.
And I think sometimes people want to pretend it's simpler than it is because it fits their agenda, or they want to pretend it's simpler than it is because they don't really want to talk about the complexity of it.
So the question is, would you watch an episode of the Bill Cosby Show?
That's a good question.
Or if Bill Cosby got out of jail and had a new show coming out, would you watch it?
So
I probably wouldn't watch his new show unless it was to shit on it, and I would definitely watch all episodes of the Cosby Show if you could find him anywhere. He's a terrible, terrible piece of shit, but man, that show was great. At least it was for me when I was a kid,
Yeah, I mean, I guess I think I might not watch a new Cosby thing because I probably would be so distracted by the fact that like I was like, this guy is such a dirtbag. I can't suspend disbelief and watch him as an actor. And maybe that would be true of Spacey now. Like, maybe new things and that I'm not familiar with, like introducing to me to new characters would be harder. And I admit there's one that he's in from the mid 90s that is escaping me at the time. Shark Tank or Shark Infested or something that I'd never heard of, but he's in, and someone recommended it. Spacey's in from the mid 90s, and I kind of like put it on my list, and then I was kind of like, I don't know if I want to go back to it. Maybe it is a Spacey thing. So part of it's that, and I guess I do get it. Like if me watching was like actually gonna like endorse him and make him,
make him money
or something, maybe I'd be like, yeah.
I mean, I guess it's just you have to ask yourself, like, are you still going to dance to Remix to Ignition, or are you just done with R. Kelly now? You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna, but my body.
I'm saying that the day they announced, the day they announced his sentence, it came on Remix to Ignition. And on a playlist of mine, and I was just like,
were you like, I gotta take this off the playlist?
I was thinking about it, I was like, god damn, this is a jam though.
It is a jam.
And then you just had to pee. And you forgot all about it.
There was a fake. I sent a text to the guys today that ended up being something that wasn't real, which I try not to do, but I was just so floored by it. I was so excited that I sent it out. And Brad's always my fact checker, and he's like, "This shit ain't real. It's fake." And then I saw another story immediately after that I wanted to send too, and it was like a story about R. Kelly breaking out of prison, like this big story about like him breaking out of prison. And I was like, "Oh my god, R. Kelly broke out of prison!" And then I had to do some research before I sent it. it because I didn't want to do it twice in one day, and it ended up being another fake story. But
Dude,
they did a remix.
I viciously fact checked the mayor of the former mayor of Stockton. He posted a thing. It was about they're going to be using dogs to sniff out abortions, like in airports and like some.
Yeah, that's not how that works.
And I was like, that was like some comedian type dude posted that stuff, but this guy was retweeting like, oh my god, look where we're going. And I was like, yeah, it's not actually that.
Brad's the master.
We'll leave you with this.
Brad's one of the best. I just want to say Brad's better at the internet than almost anyone I know.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Because Brad said, I don't know if this is real. And I was like, oh, well, I'm not even going to say anything because I know he's going to fact check the fuck out of it. He spent the next 20 minutes, whatever he was doing, fact checking my.
Drop everything. Zach just sent a meme.
I got to figure this out.
All right. So.
It's the remix.
We didn't talk about
breaking fresh out of prison.
We did talk about Oscars. All right. Let's throw them out quick.
That would be a nice little remix of the remix.
Oh, dude, there's like a guy wrote a whole song about it. It's fucking great.
All right, so
I can't take credit for that.
Some old ones, Bernstein from All the President's Men.
Yep.
Apparently, Citizen Kane, a movie I've never seen, has a reporter in it.
Yeah, who knows?
A lot of people saying that.
Henry Hackett from The Paper, which I don't know much about. Howard Beale from Network.
Yeah, that's the word. And I'm not going to take it anymore.
That's right.
Yeah.
Sidney Schamberg from The Killing Fields, which I haven't seen, but supposedly.
Right. I put The Killing Fields on my list, not to draft it just because I've seen it, but I mean, supposedly that's a movie that just will. Zach, I'm surprised you haven't seen that because it's one of those you will feel terrible after you watch it. It's about
is it a true
Khmer
story?
Rouge in Cambodia, and
that's why I've never seen
brutal,
it.
yeah.
That sounds terrible. Zodiac's really the only true story that I actually enjoy because they're not quite sure what really happened. I hate. Anyways, we'll talk. We already talked about it on the Spotlight Pod.
A couple of my favorites: Fear of a Black Hat. Nina Blackburn. She's the one that interviews all the guys in Fear of a Black Hat. Shout out to Mark Christopher Lawrence, old guest on our pod.
What about Michael, the guy who is the reporter in Girl with the Dragon Tattoo? You guys read those books or seen that movie?
Oh yeah,
killer shit.
I love those
the Dutch
books and movies.
We stayed away from
Swedish.
Denzel too. Greg Grantham in Pelican Brief.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Oh damn, Pelican Brief. Love that movie.
Yeah. So Clark Kent as Superman. There's Clark Kent in the Superman as Christopher Reeve. I mean, he's a reporter in all those, and man, I mean, he's pretty like
Lois Lane. I saw a list that had her on there. I was like, she's the worst reporter ever because she never figured out that fucking Clark Kent was Superman.
So I have a rebuttal to that. So the other day I saw this deal where it was like some guy was like on Twitter.
I saw this too.
He was like, I saw Zooey Deschanel without bangs, and now I understand.
And no glasses.
Yeah, and now I understand why
Yeah.
people didn't recognize
She looked
Superman and
nothing
Clark
like
Kent.
her.
Dude, you take those bangs and the glasses off of Zooey Deschanel, looks like a
cannot.
completely different person.
Cannot.
Absolutely wild.
I think it was just a weird angle or something. Like I don't know. I don't
bro.
necessarily agree.
It was crazy.
So my sneaky pick was Robin Williams from Good Morning Vietnam.
Yeah,
he's
radio
a radio
journalist kind of.
journalist,
I mean,
yeah.
he's more DJ, but
Yeah, maybe.
That's a loose definition.
Nate, I was surprised you didn't take Annie Reed, Sleepless in Seattle. Little Meg Ryan for
Good
you.
one. Damn.
I think Amy Schumer in Trainwreck is a writer.
Yeah.
What about the chick from the show in Sex and the City? Oh, I guess that's it.
I guess they've had some movies, but whatever. But Andy Anderson, the Kate Hudson, How to Lose a Guy in 10
damn,
Days.
that's another good one.
Nate,
I really missed the rom.
That's your wheelhouse, brother.
Yeah, my bad. Megyn Kelly is portrayed by Charlize Theron in Bombshell,
Oh yeah.
and dude, it's incredible. Like you think it's Megyn Kelly, and it's actually a pretty good movie.
I'll say my favorite portrayal of a reporter, and it actually kind of speaks to our times today, is that in the movie Airplane, they have like this counterpoint show that's like the whole plane situation's going on, and they have this counterpoint show, and the one guy sitting there, he's like, they knew what they were getting into. And he turns to the camera and goes, I say, let them crash. It's talking about but it's talking about the whole like divisive the counterpoint shows where it's like you might take the most alternate obscene position just because you're yelling at somebody else on the news, which is what we get off on today.
The only other one I got on my list is my wife's favorite actor, Tobey Maguire in Spider-Man. He is a reporter for or whatever the Spider-Man newspaper
Isn't he
is.
he's
He's like a photographer.
He's a telejournalist, telephotojournalist or some shit.
I'm surprised, considering that our first pick was from Anchorman, that nobody
Veronica Corningstone.
went for Veronica.
I was debating that late. Also,
She's legit.
She's actually more of a journalist than
she
100% more. 100%.
Ron Burgundy. Kate Blanchett's character in Don't Look Up.
Oh, I like that
Super
movie.
interesting, yeah. William Hurt is the other pick from Broadcast News, and arguably maybe could have been the better one. I don't know.
No. I think 100% it's Aaron Altman for sure, because he's the actual like journalist. That it's kind of like Ron Burgundy versus Veronica Corningstone. He's the one working hard, busting his ass, and the other dude just gets off on being like, "I'm good looking and I have a good voice."
Harry, the reporter in the Harry Potter movies.
Oh, what is her name?
Rita Skeeter.
Rita Skeeter. Yeah, my kids. Were talking
She's
about that
terrible.
one.
I hate her.
Hayden Christensen's character in Shattered Glass.
Never seen it.
It's actually pretty good. It's based on the guy that made up a bunch of shit, I think, for the New Republic. Tina Fey and Whiskey Tango Foxtrot as a war reporter. David Frost and Frost Nixon's pretty good. Yeah. Edward R. Murrow in Good Night and Good Luck. And Lowell Bergman in The Insider.
What about the kid that interviews Jason Segel in the David Foster Wallace movie?
It's Jesse Eisenberg. Yeah.
Just thought of that one off the dome.
Oh, and definitely maybe wasn't. No, not definitely. Yeah, definitely maybe wasn't one of them a reporter? One of his girls?
Yeah, she's the one that blows up the.
She blows up the story, and she pisses him off.
The brunette. Yeah.
It's Rachel Weisz is the actress.
Yeah. There you go.
That's a good one. So that's our also Rans. Okay, so we are now going to go grab Scotch. So last week we had our buddy Justin on, and he was here talking about his early Catholicism. And so we
his
thought
experience
it would be
as a former altar boy,
and so we thought we might stick Scotch in the confessional, but what we didn't tell him is that Justin is on the other side, not the priest. So we're going to bring Scotch out here to judge and find out what kind of weird stuff.
We were hoping Justin would offer all sorts of like penance. And
he may be doing a lot of
Hail Marys.
What we're going to do is we're just going to have Scott give a confessional, and then we're going to have Justin come out and tell us all the shit that he said.
Perfect. Yeah. How about that?
All right, we'll be back with some judging.
California has the largest population in the United States and the site of some of the most famous true crime cases in history. But there's more than meets the eye to the crime in California. Join Sean, Jessica, and Charles on the California True Crime Podcast as they cover crime both infamous and overlooked from around our state, while looking at the deeper history that goes beyond beaches and movie stars.
All right, we're back, and Scotch Beck has just he's looking a little bit like relieved, but he just came out of the confessional.
Like a weight off your shoulders or something here.
How did Father Justin take your confession?
It feels good to admit a lot of these things that I've been hiding.
Scott always talks in this crazy. Your like uncomfortable voice is my favorite shit on the planet. Oh my god, it's so funny.
Yeah, I've seen some things and done some things. I can't tell you about them, but I told Justin about them.
Justin won't say anything to anyone.
He was texting us from the booth.
Wait, that's confidential.
Yeah. No,
don't look at his...
He's not ordained anything. So
when you tweeted that shit.
So when you were on the tractor and you saw the raccoon, is that true? That what you did next?
What made you want to fuck it,
guys? This is private.
Impure thoughts are not a sin unless you. Well, no wait. That Justin didn't say. He said that you had to do Hail Marys, didn't he?
I'm comfortable now.
Okay.
I was fine before. Now it's getting weird.
All right. So we put you on for some results. We sent you our draft. Before we do that, though, before we get into that, so we just a few weeks ago, a good friend of ours, Matt, who headlines, who is the lead singer for
Andrew's band.
For Brad's Brothers Band.
Oh, yeah.
Who's Scott also happens to be in Brad's Brothers Band. Matt lost his dad, Monty, who was a long time fixture in our community. And went to high school here, raised his family here, was a community volunteer, and as Matt told it, rented a lot of movies at Bev's Video Kingdom. And so I was talking to Matt the other day, and he was just talking about how much Monty loved movies and was like always quick with the movie line and stuff. And
my dad's a good friend with him, and they share movie recommendations to each other all the time, and that was they love talking movies with each other, and they shared some of my favorites like the best of times and that stuff. So definitely some good classics in their wheelhouse.
They were like, honestly, with some of the first people I knew with like a big screen, like the rear projection.
Yeah.
Or actually, it was like, I think it was the front projection.
Yeah, the red, the green, and the blue lights.
You need 14 people to pick it up.
Yeah, and so they had this big screen TV, and they're the first ones that like I remember like had all these movies and always had a movie quote, and throughout the whole life. Like, so when I moved back here about 12 years ago, I bought a house and renovated it and put in a kitchen and you know, they have a cabinet shop and you know they just make amazing cabinets, and they just do really like solid work. Like they always said, you're going to get quality, you know, wood, and we're not going to cheap out on any of this shit. It's going to be done right. And so every time I walk into my kitchen, I know that I see a piece of Monty, because he's the one that came over and kind of told me what we're going to do and talked to me about this and that and whatever. And the whole time we're sitting there talking, he'd like throw out a movie quote, or crack a joke. Every time I was around that guy, he would always find a way to get some sort of movie reference or whatever.
Yeah.
And yeah, he loved his films, and yeah, he was a great guy, and definitely going to miss him.
Yeah,
Our thoughts are for sure with Matt and his
yeah.
family.
So sorry. Yeah, we're thinking about the Browns and all the extended family and loved ones and friends that are definitely still feeling the loss. And you know,
Love y'all,
Monty. I hope you're up there wherever you are watching the movie with your feet up and laughing. So
And hopefully it's better than Best of Times.
no, definitely watching Best of Times.
all right. So Scott, give us your how did you judge this? What were your criteria for the reporters draft?
Yeah, so I was a little nervous going into this one. You know, the last draft that just dropped this week as we're recording this was SNL alumni, and that was in my wheelhouse. And so I was a little nervous going into this one, because I was, I did a little bit of research, and I was like, fuck, I haven't seen that movie. I haven't seen that movie. I haven't seen that fucking movie. I haven't seen that. This isn't my type of film in general. When you Google best reporters in film, then you start to see all these movies that are just kind of a genre that you're not really into. And so I was sitting there going, I really hope these guys think outside the box a little bit, kind of get into some other films that aren't necessarily journalism films, which is the list that you look for, or that when you do a search, you find journalism films.
Did we let you down?
You guys did great.
Okay, good.
You guys made it so easy for me, which was huge. You guys all get 1 bonus point for that. So nice work.
Great, perfect.
I didn't get shut out this time.
So I was just trying to figure out, because going into it, I wasn't sure if I was going to need a little bit of help, because I was afraid I was going to be sitting around fucking YouTube for, half an hour trying to, catch up on a lot of these films. So what I did is basically I have my just general oh yeah factor. Oh yeah. Thank you, Scotch. And something I came up with was Scoop Me. So if you guys came up with something that I didn't even think of, you got the scoop.
Scooped you.
Yeah, scoop.
Nice.
And so topically topical. And so I got some bonus points if I was like, holy shit. And there was definitely a few holy shits in there that I was like, I can't believe I didn't think of that. Then my other category was like, I found a second source. Because
I like it.
So basically what I did was it's kind of a combination YouTube assist, but also I found this website. So some Dutch journalist guy who asked all his Twitter followers to tell him the best journalism movies.
Huh.
And so I used that with the YouTube assist to give some bonus points on movies I didn't know.
Okay. All right.
So-
I found a second source.
I found a second source.
You could also call that the deep throat category, but I'm just throwing things out there.
That's true.
That's better. I like that a lot.
We talked about that category in the confessional.
So then I just after that I just kind of threw some extra bonus points in there on if I thought you reached or picked it too early, if you reached or got it in the right round or stole it. So that's kind of what I did.
All right.
So first thing I like to do is tell the scores.
Ooh. So I have one. Okay. What else?
43,
Ooh.
41,
Ooh.
27.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Now is this one of those deals where it's like golf, like 27 killed it?
Yeah. Lowest score definitely wins.
This is
You
not,
did say 43, 41, 27. So yeah, maybe that's the.
this is not my brother's draft.
All right. Did you have anything that was not picked that you had on your mind?
There was a few, absolutely. Clark Kent.
Like we talked
Superman.
about that.
I thought hard about that one and never pulled the trigger.
I never read any of his stuff, so I don't know if it was any good or not. But
And I'm
okay.
talking the original Clark Kent, Christopher Reeves,
Yeah, that's the
Superman. Just a great character, just a very aloof. The whole Clark Kent, first of all, that character is just kind of weird. Like, he throws on glasses, you don't recognize him, but whatever. But it's still a very memorable. And the key is it's memorable, right?
Right.
Yeah.
This was not best reporter because some of the lists I saw where they said, well, did they actually get the story
Right.
and all this shit? I'm like,
No,
fuck
no.
that. Is it memorable?
Yeah.
And so, but Clark Kent is definitely from my childhood and important. I would have been happy with any of the Anchorman picks, Veronica Corningstone or Brian Fantana,
Oh yeah.
mostly because of Panda Watch.
Yeah.
But that's okay. I can understand why Ron Burgundy made the list and they didn't. Richard Thornburg from Die Hard.
Oh. Damn, that's
Yeah.
a good one.
the guy that goes to the mom's house.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or the
he is a piece of shit, and
Piece of
he's
shit.
memorable though.
Very memorable.
Really memorable.
How did you miss him? That was a huge miss to me.
That's a miss.
Yeah.
Yeah, he exposes the whole thing.
so memorable.
Yeah,
I forgot all about him. Come on, Scott.
Some other ones: Vicky Vale, Batman.
Yeah,
Vicky Vale. She was on my list.
she screams too much.
Sue Charlton, Crocodile Dundee.
Oh,
God damn, that would have been a good
sneaky
one. And she had the piece of shit guy that gets killed in number 2. That he was like the more like crazy reporter.
I don't think I
He's
saw
the one that
second
he like basically like they're on some like thing and she leaves and he's like, you gotta take this the pictures back, and then he ends up getting killed.
Yeah, I haven't seen that movie in a long time.
I love Crocodile Dundee.
Yeah, so,
that's what I hear.
Number 2 is my favorite by far.
how about Peter Parker, man?
I brought it up and got shit on.
Photojournalist.
Really?
Photojournalist.
Okay.
Actually, he's more a photographer. I don't think they call him a photojournalist. They call him a photographer.
I was trying to say photojournalist. I think I called him a telejournalist earlier.
Max Mercy from The Natural. Robert
Not a
Duvall.
bad one. Okay.
See, I saw on one list they included like a sports announcer. Like, they included from Major League.
Bob Uecker.
Bob
Uecker.
Well,
Still bit out.
yeah, that's an announcer.
Yeah,
but
I was
Max,
like,
Max Mercy was a reporter.
He was a writer.
Sports
He's a
reporter.
writer.
okay.
Yeah. And then this one I was actually surprised that Zach didn't pick was Wayne Gale from Natural Born Killers.
Oh, fucking De Niro.
Robert Downey Jr.
I mean, yeah. De Niro. Robert Downey Jr. Wrong name. Just,
RDJ.
it's a little off.
So yeah,
No, that's a good one.
so those are some of the ones I thought of.
He has to take one for the team at the end.
That's right.
I would say there's one I didn't mention either is Cinderella Man. They have a guy that's like that reports on him as kind of a dick to Cinderella Man the entire time, and he's pretty good.
Sounds memorable.
What was his character name?
The guy, that
Have
guy
you
that-
seen
Sporty
seen
Lewis.
Cinderella
Sporty
Man?
Lewis.
Who's the actor?
Dude?
The actor that played Sporty Lewis?
dope movie.
I don't remember.
Very
It's
memorable.
like one that I
Shit.
watched very begrudgingly. I thought was going to be terrible, and I was like,
I remembered his name, Sporty Lewis.
All right.
Okay,
Let's do this.
so third place with a whopping 27 points.
Wow.
Jesus.
This is we just have to say. I mean, it's going to be one of us, and somebody just shit the bed really bad. I mean, it's messy, and they're cleaning it up on their own.
There's always fingers are being pointed.
Can I make a prediction?
Sure.
I predict that it is not my team. but it is the team that stole all of the picks that I was going to pick, and it would have been my team. So that's my prediction.
Let's find out. That would be awesome.
I really love that prediction.
So you're saying that the team that stole your picks is going to win the draft?
No, it's
He's
going
going to get last place.
Actually get last place.
Because there was a person in the draft that like every time at every turn I was like, oh my God, dude, I just was going to pick that. You know what I mean? Like I even had it pulled up on my phone. You know what I mean?
Interesting.
That's actually that's really.
So I want to know.
That's pretty good.
Team 3.
No, it was that.
Oh boy! Team 3 included Raul Duke, Fear and Loathing Las Vegas.
Okay, that's undeniable.
April O'Neil, Teenage Mutant Ninja
I don't
Turtles,
love
the
that
1990 OG version.
Yeah.
Paul Avery, Zodiac.
Yep.
That's Robert Downey Jr.'s character, or Robert De Niro if you're in a different universe. Lester
dude from
Bangs,
Almost Famous.
And Bitsy Bloom from The Life of David Gale.
It was fun. That was a fun theory.
Now,
about
if I had
Lost,
had
Zach.
Drew Barrymore from Never Been Kissed, would that have helped or hurt my team? Because I was so upset when that got taken away from my team.
It would have helped a lot.
Jesus Christ.
Your number 2 pick was wild and amazing, and I loved it. But it was
Yeah.
just a little bit of a stretch.
April, bro.
It was crazy.
So yeah,
She's the first thing I think of when I think of a reporter. I didn't even think of Hunter first.
I know the rap,
okay.
man. I know the rap from that song. April O'Neil is up on this case. You better hurry up. There's no time to waste.
so we're talking about the 1990 live action.
Yes.
Okay, right.
One where Raphael yells, damn.
Who's the actress that plays her?
Damn.
I forgot her name already.
Something.
Very memorable.
Beautiful
Okay.
chin. Beautiful chin, beautiful hair.
Very memorable. I couldn't even picture her in my brain. So
Really?
No,
Because you were like 25 when that movie
dude,
came
I love
out.
the Ninja Turtles.
Really? Do you?
Oh yeah.
Then you hate April
I
O'Neil?
saw that thing in the theater for sure, like day 1 or 2 or something.
I didn't.
Dude.
I wouldn't say go that far, but I love the Ninja Turtles.
That
Anyway,
it was so gritty, bro.
Dude, some people had the van, like the toy van, and it actually like shot little motorized, like had a little motor and shoot pizzas out.
Picking her in the second
legit.
round is just insane. to
It
me.
wasn't shooting
Yes,
pizzas. It was
thank you.
shooting
So-
manhole covers.
Was it manhole covers?
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
Sorry. Go ahead, Scott.
Okay, I'm not saying you
I've
shouldn't
got
have
turtle
picked.
splained.
You shouldn't have picked her at all, but the second round is just absolutely
Agreed.
just insane.
I was a little taken off guard.
The Fear and Loathing, great. That's a great pick.
Thank you.
Paul Avery and Zodiac is a good pick. Actually, in that round, it was just as good as the other two. Lester Bangs, Love, Almost Famous. That
Okay.
I really like that pick a lot too. Bitsy Bloom, Life of David Gale. So I Googled it.
Oh, you've never seen it?
Fuck no.
Oh, bro.
And so I couldn't even find a clip with Bitsy Bloom to get an idea of who she was.
You got homework.
I will. Well,
she-
the one clip that came up was it was the German version of the movie.
Hella memorable.
And so you lost a few points.
That's a toughie, buddy.
Damn.
That's tough.
I was trying to get some female representation up in this draft, and
Appreciate
looks like
that.
it got me 27 points.
Yeah.
Son of a bitch.
Good work, buddy.
Anyway. Okay, so now the final two. It was very close as the score projects. I think I know who's who. 41 points. Team 2.
That would be
Wow, that is not where I thought it was going.
William
Yeah, I
Miller,
had to.
Almost Famous, Bob Woodward, All the President's Men, Michael Resendez, Spotlight, Aaron Altman, Broadcast News, and Erwin Fletcher from Fletch.
I lost it in the third.
Damn,
fourth.
all that tells me is that
And the
Josie
fourth and
Grossi
fifth.
was a huge pick.
Your
Because
picks were delicious, man. They
God
worked so
damn.
well. I'm glad I put them to
my
good use.
fucking Toby Maguire lookalike guy, what's his name? The fucking guy from Nightcrawler?
Yeah, I thought that was your team at
Gyllenhaal,
first.
Jake.
Yeah, it was, because Brad took all my picks.
I swear to God. So I was, I go through and I try to be, I don't want to play favorites at all. But as I'm going through, I'm like, all right, that's Zach. That's whatever. But I had no clue on this one because I swear I thought April O'Neil was a Brad pick. For some reason.
Wait till you listen to the pod because we
I
talked
can't
about
wait.
it. We talked about
I love it. And then and Louis Bloom was a straight up Zach pick, 100%.
Damn.
But then the Paul Avery Zodiac pick was also a Zach pick. So then I was really confused.
I stole Louis Bloom straight off his phone. Like, he had it on his phone, and I pick it, and I was like, Zach, you're not gonna like this pick, because I feel like it's something you're gonna want. And he's like, my phone, look.
Which is so funny because I literally, like 3 months ago, watched that movie for the first time.
Yeah, I
like
put it
very
on.
recently.
I made you watch it.
So
That's a good one.
So let's talk about Team 2. Let's give it the respect it's due and why I'm wrong, according to Nate.
Yeah.
We'll say Nate went chalk. He went very much like the reporters like.
I did it, and I okay. Let's hear your take, and then I'll tell you why I lost this because I know.
So, William Miller, I love that movie. I love Almost Famous. His acting is not good, and I know, but remember, it's memorable.
Fugit?
And the most memorable thing of that movie isn't necessarily him. To me, it's Kate Hudson, it's Billy Crudup, and so as much as I love that pick, it wasn't as good as Ron Burgundy, just for memorable. Okay, so that's what lost in the first round. I've never seen All the President's Men.
Speaking, we didn't even talk about Billy Crudup being in this movie. Like,
in Spotlight, yeah.
Spotlight, yeah.
So, but that didn't hurt you. But the fact that I haven't seen it because that movie was the top of every list that I happened to look up. It's considered the greatest film about journalism. Period.
No question.
I think Nate literally said that.
And I need to see it. And I love Robert Redford.
And if you liked Spotlight, it's very It's really like in that vein.
And the minute I saw the name, I knew exactly who it was. That's very memorable. So that did not hurt you at one bit. Okay. Michael Resendez, you wore the T-shirt that won that round, not by a lot, but
had you seen Nightcrawler?
I have not seen Nightcrawler, but I know all about it, and it was on a lot of lists. And as far as memorable, because he kills a bunch of he kills people in that movie.
You need to watch it.
You need to watch it. I avoided it because I made a lot of assumptions about it. When I actually watched it, I was like, oh, it's pretty fucking good.
Yeah, it's really good.
So, but that was still really tight though. As far as I loved, I talked about this on the other pod. I loved the performance that Ruffalo did, and so that actually won the round by 1 point. Aaron Altman, Broadcast News, the right pick from Broadcast News.
Yeah, we'll
absolutely.
talk about this.
Yes, 100%. Very memorable scene. It's that movie I'd heard so much about, and I watched it one day. And I think it got hyped up a little bit too much for me.
Yeah, so I had I said exactly the same thing. Yeah,
yeah, I wasn't here, so sorry.
I think it hit some emotional notes. Like if you kind of like the whole dynamic between like the guy who thinks he's smart and should be getting the girls, and the guy who's just kind of like getting by the charm.
Totally, but yeah, him sweating his ass off and his shirt soaked is just so.
when he has his meltdown, it's awesome.
I love Albert Brooks; he's so good. And then Erwin Fletcher. Fletch, I did not see that coming. I didn't think about it, and when I saw it, that was an absolute steal of that last round, and it was great.
Were you a Fletch fan growing up?
Love Fletch.
We might have discussed that. So I was like, oh, Scotch might be age appropriate for Fletch.
So I'm trying to figure out what I should have swapped. So here are the two. I'll just tell you, one of them should have, one didn't. So I would have taken I would have taken Bill Murray in Groundhog Day. Except I did not write it on my list. And I probably would have taken that fairly early. And I forgot to write it down when I brainstormed it. The second one, I almost took Clark Kent instead of Fletch. I don't know if that would have helped.
Fletch probably would have helped you more.
Fletch probably would have been better.
Okay, well that's the way I went. But so I
Bill Connors is I think what won the whole thing for.
Yeah, so I think I lost the draft because I forgot to write that down.
Oh, you think Groundhog's Day was the difference?
'Cause
that's a great pick. I didn't even think of it.
Yeah, and it's So there was a few surprises. So Team 1, have you read Team 1 yet?
Team 1 was Ron Burgundy, Anchorman, Gail Weathers from Scream, Louis Bloom, Nightcrawler, Phil Connors, Groundhog Day, and Josie Geller, Josie Grossi from Never Been Kissed.
Right. Okay, so Ron Burgundy, it definitely, I agree with that as a one of one.
What gets more points, Ron Burgundy or Veronica Corningstone?
Ron Burgundy.
Best journalist in a film.
No, most memorable.
Memorable.
Don't say best.
You guys sure?
Try to change up this category right now. If it's best, Nate wins like hands down going away.
Yeah, 100%. Gail Weathers, I can't believe I didn't think of her.
Neither did I.
That surprised me too.
A good one.
Yeah, really love that pick. You got it in a good round, got it early, and super memorable. Again, Louis Bloom, that was probably it was the lowest point getter of all your picks, but that whole round was really even across the board, so it wasn't enough to hurt you. Phil Connors was absolute steal in round 4. I didn't think of it. I saw it. I was pissed. I was like, how did I not put it?
I saw it and I didn't put it down.
Yeah. It's so huge.
I was surprised. I was like, I'm getting this on the wrap, and I was like, I thought he would have been chosen earlier.
Right.
I thought maybe they're like thinking like, oh, Weatherman, it doesn't count. And I was like, fuck, maybe I'm gonna get shit on for this pick. But
it would have been my probably 3rd pick. I probably would take it instead of.
Yeah, it was great. And then and Grozy Josie, I actually have seen. I haven't seen the entire film. I've seen most of it.
Oh, dude!
And it's pretty brutal.
But you saw the beginning?
Yeah,
it's the most brutal movie I've ever seen.
So brutal, and it was on a lot of lists. They talked
insane.
about it, and you absolutely remember it. And again, memorable is the key term.
Josie Grossi was on lists.
Yeah.
For journalists.
For journalists.
Oh.
Well, there's one. Actually, it was a list of. She's like the worst journalists because she actually did a shitty job in the movie or something like that. So, and so was
the Brad discussed she had some
Louis
ethical
Bloom.
issues.
Yeah, Louis Bloom was also on that list of actually worst journalists. So,
oh no, he's
So,
All
anyway,
right,
there you go.
Hey, I think after this, I can actually really break down the W win-loss record.
Oh, you were just waiting for you to get a win before
Right.
you.
I think I was. I needed to bump up my total just a little bit.
It's been a while. It seems
think
like
I was.
I really don't know what it's going to look like
I bet you I'm in third
because we
place.
had the Taken from last week, which was something that that was from back in March. So finally, like getting the scores, I can do the scores correctly, and we can see where we're at. So next week, I will update us with our records, our win loss.
Oh damn! Did we talk about what's going to be next week? I'm not even sure. What are we putting out next week?
Oh, we don't even know.
I believe next week is Good Will Hunting.
What?
Oh, I think it is, and I know
Yeah.
why.
Because it's going to be our 1 year.
Our 1 year anniversary.
Yeah.
Oh, see, I don't know any of this. When did you guys talk about this? God damn it! I missed all this.
Yeah, I think we're coming. I think we're doing Good Will Hunting next week.
Oh shit! All right, I'm ready.
You know,
Are you?
just for the brotherhood of it, for the friendship of it.
Yeah.
Dude, I love Good Will Hunting.
I do too.
You will
Love
find no argument with me.
So that's it. We're coming up on 1 year BVK. That's pretty exciting.
Who's the best performance in Good Will Hunting? Is it Robin Williams? And why is it Robin Williams?
Oh man.
I think so, 100%.
I think so, too.
I mean, I think it is Robin Williams, but Matt Damon is my guy.
Dude,
save
Minnie
it
Driver,
for the pod.
Save
Save it for the pod, y'all.
All right, save it for the ring.
the guy from Yellowstone. Bye-bye.
I wanna be at Beverly's, bringing me home with my movies. Just a blind by, no reason why. I love this scene. Nick Natak and Brad, your favorite podcast. The star.